What's up, guys, and thanks for joining me again on another episode of The O'Neill Show. I have some really big news for this channel. I'm excited to share it, but first I'm going to tell you what happened yesterday. I went to the Calling All First Responders and Freedom Fighters rally. It was a great turnout. I would say probably in and around 1,000 people were there, if not more. They had great speakers. I was hoping to procure a couple on-the-ground interviews, but people are a little hesitant given the fact that political views like this that are shared, anti-lockdowns, anti-mask, anti-vax mandates, a lot of people get judged pretty harsh on the right from the political left. So they were a little hesitant to do some on-the-ground interviews, but I did procure something extraordinarily big, and it's going to be breaking exclusively on this show within the next, I would say, week or two. But first, let's go through what happened at this event and what went down. What's up, guys? We are here at Victoria Park at the Calling All First Responders and Freedom rally, and we're going to try to get some interviews down here to see what people think about these lockdowns, these mandates, and simple government overreach. Stay tuned.
Awesome.
So as you can see, we're walking up there to the crowd, and it's a fairly big crowd. Very good turnout with some very good speakers, very friendly people. The only problem with some of these rallies, and it's on both sides, you'll get a speaker that's a little, what's the word I'm looking for? A little far out, right? And they'll start talking about things, and it's like, it's not really helping the cause. So this next gentleman right here I'll play, he seems a little out there. But he's basically going over certain laws and codes in the Canadian Charter of Freedom and Rights. And he's talking about arresting members of Parliament, which, again, I understand because these lockdowns, they're not right. These vaccine passports, none of it makes sense, right? You can't go into a restaurant if you're not vaxxed. You can't go to a movie theater if you're not vaxxed. But yet, everyone can gather at a grocery store or an essential store, which doesn't make sense because you can still spread it just as easily, right? And this is what the majority of people are not understanding. If you have the vaccine, if you're masked up, doesn't matter, you can still get it. I thought a vaccine was so you didn't get something. This seems to be more like a flu shot, right? Now we're talking about third boosters. So anyways, check this guy out. He makes a couple valid points.
To the police. I am speaking to the police. The Lieutenant Governor and Parliament did commit criminal code violations. The Police Services Act states that your duty is to safeguard the fundamental rights and freedoms and the Human Rights Code. You may lawfully take into custody the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario and Parliament. And I'm going to explain why. Parliament, in Section 17 of the 1867 Constitution Act, is defined as the Queen, the Senate, and the House of Commons. Parliament committed criminal code offenses by disobeying a statute. Disobeying a statute is a criminal code violation, Section 126. I ask the police to lawfully take into custody Parliament and the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario, and I'm going to explain why. Lockdown suicides become murder. If you're gonna chant anything to a police officer, lockdown suicides become murder. The Lieutenant Governor declared an emergency without disclosing the resources, criteria, or the circumstances, and never once gave proper due process for a loss of freedom. Section 1A of the Canadian Bill of Rights states that you don't lose freedom except by due process of law. The Lieutenant Governor violated Section 1 of the Canadian Bill of Rights. Parliament shall ensure the protection of these rights in Canada, as in the third sentence in the Canadian Bill of Rights, and Parliament disobeyed that statute, and Parliament and the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario did commit disobeying a statute, a criminal code offense, Section 126. I ask all police officers in Ontario, that's about 26,000 police officers, to work together to immediately lawfully take into custody the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario and Parliament. If you have had difficulty buying food, as I have, I was not allowed to buy food. That is attending to the destruction of an identifiable group. Those with exemptions and eventually maybe those that are not vaccinated. The destruction of an identifiable group is genocide. Police, I'm talking to the police. Genocide, inhumane acts on civilian populations, culpable homicide, Section 229C, criminal negligence causing death, 220, reckless endangerment of children, 218, forcing people to breathe in their own carbon dioxide, 245, obstructing religious services, 176. The people in Aylmer, the Church of God people that I've spoken to, they cannot buy food in their own hometown, from what I understand. That is an act of genocide by the store owners in Aylmer. We reported this to London OPP. We've faxed about 90 OPP stations around Ontario. We should only be at the police station. We have a criminal information that implicates the Parliament and the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. If you go to arrestthem.com/murder, there's a link with the documents. Make a criminal report to the police and have the police lawfully take into custody the Lieutenant Governor and Parliament. And put them in prison for life, because these people will not stop unless they are stopped.
Okay, so there was that speaker. He makes a lot of valid points. As you can tell, though, he's a little eccentric, a little outspoken, which is fine. Rallies like this, they need a lot of energy. But it goes to show you that, and you'll hear this from the next video that I play, we have power in numbers, right? If you take what happened in the US over the past week with the airlines, there is, I believe, 1,000, if not more, flights grounded. And the airline tried to say it was due to bad weather, which was not true, because they're the only ones that seem to be affected by this bad weather. What it was a protest against mandatory vaccine policies, right? And that's what they're going against. They don't want it. And because they did that, the airlines had to walk it back. So now there is no vaccine mandate for these pilots. So this next speaker, his name is Chris Guy, and he was the basically the headline of the rally. We unfortunately missed his first speech that he gave, but we caught a second one, and I was able to record most of it. He makes a lot of very good points, and just check it out. Take a listen.
We only have a whole bunch of small hoodies left, so you guys got to go over there and buy them for some children and finish them off. But I'll talk right now because we got a big crowd. And after I'm done talking, we'll go over there together. We're going to finish off this merch, and then we're going to go and we'll patronize the businesses in London who want our business. We don't want to intimidate anyone. We don't want to force anyone to let us go in there if they don't want to. But for the businesses who appreciate freedom, we want to give them a day that they don't forget. Yep. So what do we have here today, everybody? You know what I call this? United Non-Compliance. This is what I've been talking about since April 2020. When everybody comes together, whether they're from government, law enforcement, private, public, or just straight up freedom fighters, and they come together in one voice, and we just say no. And look what happens. Not only does it show that we're together, not only does it show solidarity, it shows that we're right and they're wrong. And that's what this is all about. We are on the right side of history. Hundreds of years from now, when they talk about what happened, and they will, because this was the biggest crime against humanity in the history of humanity, they're going to remember this day as the day the police and the people stood together against the government. Just watch Trudeau on TV. He tries to talk with authority. He tries to speak with conviction. He literally tries to talk down to you. Don't listen to his words. Listen to his voice. Listen to the quiver in his voice. He is scared, ladies and gentlemen. And he should be scared. If I was him, I'd be terrified. He just pissed off about 15 million Canadian citizens. And that means something. That still means something. We have a charter of rights and freedoms. That's what makes us Canadian citizens. That's what makes Canada so great. And they're trying to make you feel like you're selfish if you want to retain those rights. They want to make you feel like you're a bad person if you get angry when they try to take them from you. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're not going to get angry when they're abusing your children, if they're not going to get angry when you're taking your job, if they're not going to get angry when they're taking your future, when are you going to get angry? Anger is not a negative thing. It is if you're doing it for no reason. But when it comes out of love for protecting your children, or protecting your family, or protecting your job, or protecting your future, then it is as natural as all the other wonderful emotions that we feel. And the most important one is love. That's it. Love is number one. Love is paramount. And that's what they want to destroy. That's why they're trying to isolate you. That's why they're telling you, if you're unvaxxed, you can't even have your friends and family over your house. It's because they don't want you to feel that love, that togetherness, that hope. They want you to feel alone, sad, desperate, with nowhere to turn. They want you to download the Verified Ontario app, which is literally slavery in your pocket. You're going to download an app that clicks and says, you have 10 days to get your next vaccination. You have 5 days to get your next vaccination. And guess what? They already made an update on the app in Australia that not only does it tell you when you have to get your vaccination, you gotta do specialized selfie check-ins to show the government that you're at home like you're supposed to be. And if you don't, your little wonderful app gives gives you a 5-minute warning. And if you still don't, after the second 5-minute warning, it notifies the police. And you have to give a reason on the app why you weren't there. Take a selfie and show the government that you're at home like a good slave. And this is what they want for you. And it's not a joke, they have it out right now. You want me to download it for you? It's called the Verify Ontario app. And any person that downloads that is one of the dumbest people alive. And I will say that with conviction. It looks like Trudeau's spying on us right now, because that's definitely not a civilian drone up there. Look at that, look at that. They're so scared of what's going on, and they gotta watch from up top. It's not like Trudeau could have an event like this. Could you imagine Trudeau being in a live location with this many people? I don't want to sound mean or anything, but I don't think he'd make it out alive. If that's not a leader, that's a wannabe dictator. And let's leave a message up to him. What happened to every other wannabe dictator in the history of the world? Your fall from grace is going to be epic, buddy. Epic. We are currently in the later stages of phase 2 of United Non-Compliance. We are taking action. And there's no greater action than to take the state's so-called attack dogs, the police, and turn it against them. If you're a business owner, are you going to be worried that the police are going to come and fine you when they're suing the government on your behalf? No. If you're another police officer, are you going to be worried about being ostracized because you didn't want to consent giving away your medical history? No. And here's the best one. If you're an airline worker or other public or private sector worker, are you not more empowered now that you know the police are on your side? Let's hear a round of applause for the police, ladies and gentlemen. The reason we're all here today. I've been telling you from the start. I've been saying it from day one. We need to back the blue. And if anybody had a reason not to, it's me. I'm the one that's been arrested 14 times in 16 months. I'm the one currently on 8 separate bails simply for speaking the truth. And I told you all we have to do is keep fighting, stay strong, and eventually the police will be on our side. Eventually, you'll look beside you and you'll see someone that you never ever thought would be standing next to you ready to fight. Look around, ladies and gentlemen. Look at all the people here from all over Ontario. Look at this. Look at this, London. And this is just the start, ladies and gentlemen. On October 23rd, we make our way back to Windsor. I know you all miss me over there, and I'm not gonna lie, I miss you too. Windsor was my favorite rally I ever had. The energy there was incredible. And then check it out. From there, we're heading out west. It's gonna be my 4th cross-country tour this year. This year, ladies and gentlemen, and we're hitting 18 destinations in less than 16 days. That's how dedicated we are. We drive 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we do a show like this every single day to unite the country, to wake up the country, to provoke the action required to end this, get our freedoms back, and move us into stage 3 of United Non-Compliance. Stage 3 is my favorite one of all, everyone. It means we got our freedom back. It means we've already won. And now we're just taking out the garbage. Stage 3 is when we hold them accountable. And they know it's coming. They know it's coming. But you guys have to understand, they've been at war with you for almost 2 years. And now they see that they've already lost. And they're basically managing this. They're managing this loss. But they're a dangerous enemy right now. They're like a cornered animal, ready to strike. These people are fighting for their lives because they know that this ends 2 ways for them. Jail or worse. So they're literally fighting for their lives. You need to have the same attitude, ladies and gentlemen. You can cannot be intimidated by the thought of losing a job or not being able to go to school. You cannot back down in the face of tyranny. This is where we have to stand strong. We are not only holding the line, we are pushing them back. And it's time to push them right off this stage. That's why we...
Okay, so that was Chris Sky, and as you can see and hear, he made a lot of very good points. A lot of people call him crazy, they call him a conspiracy theorist. In fact, if you look him up online, that's pretty much what he's labeled as a conspiracy theorist, which that seems what the left likes to label the right, especially when all we're doing is just spitting or even researching facts on common things. We're conspiracy theories or fact deniers, whatever the hell you want to call it. Like I said, I did try to procure some interviews on the ground. A lot of people were very hesitant, which I understand. But through all this, I was able, and here comes the big news, I was able to procure an interview that's going to be happening within the next week or two. I'm not going to name this individual. I'm not going to name the institutions to which this individual works at. What I will say is that this is going to be bombshell news, and it's going to be happening exclusively on this show. We're going to be doing a Skype interview, and it's going to basically have to do with the medical institutions to which this person has worked at, and it's going to be jaw-dropping. So make sure you stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this. This is going to be a game changer for the show. As always, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, share, and drop a comment and tell me what you think. Until next time, have a good one. Oh, and I almost forgot one thing. For those of you wondering about the follow-up from episode 6 about the Canadian election, I was right. Justin Trudeau won again with a minority government. What a complete waste of $600 million. As always, we'll see you later.